Tell me about your book.
The name of my book is Leaders, Their Stories, Their Words, and it's a labor of love. I decided when I was at INSEAD at a global leadership conference that we cannot, we meaning coaches, do our work in the best possible way unless we really get people. It's not just about their work, and it's not just about what they're doing tomorrow or for a presentation. It's about who they are, what lights that spark within them, where do they come from, what are their roots, and what are they doing to grow the next generation of leaders. These are human-based leaders, not power-based leaders. So they lead from what I call a sense of humanness, and they connect with people, want the best for them. However, they are not pushovers. These are leaders in the true sense of the word who have a vision, set direction, but bring everybody along with them along the way. So this really was a project that I fell in love with as I was doing it.
What are the kinds of leaders? You talk about leaders who are not power leaders. What are some of the activities they're engaged in?
Well, these are people in very interesting professions. It's everything from genetic researcher, journalists, Secret Service, political leaders. It's people who have impacted so many people. They might not be famous, but their work precedes them. So if I would say Ron Wharton is a name that I would bring to mind, most people don't know that name, but they do know that there was a genetic researcher who discovered the gene for muscular dystrophy so they could work on a cure. That's Ron. He is the most amazing individual, as are the rest of the people that are in the book. So I interviewed 12. Amongst the 12, I also have other people who share their views on what human-based leaders are. So it's a dance. It's the conversations with these amazing people. Some I work with, some I'm friends with, and others are, global leaders who will say, for me, human-based leadership is, and they'll share their thoughts on it.
Would you say that a Gandhi or a Martin Luther King were human-based leaders?
Absolutely they are, because they care. They are stewards. They are voices for people who are unrepresented. That's what human-based leaders are. It's not having power over people. It's those who have power with people. Engage them, learn as they lead. They're just extraordinary individuals who impact the world even in their own quiet ways.
It sounds to me like this is going to have a sequel, that you're going to be continuing looking at leaders and how they evolve as human-based leaders. Am I correct?
Absolutely, you're correct. And I will have some of those pieces on my blog as it gets up and running to have further conversations with some of the leaders in training, as I call it, to see what do they need from the present leadership in order to lead them better, which is one of the reasons why I do a reverse mentoring program with some of my clients, because it's time present leaders learned from those they're leading what those people need in order to be led. So, it's a different perspective, and it's one that leaves you wondering, reflecting, asking yourself, what do I need to change in myself that I can impact people in my life? No matter what I do, no matter who I am, age, gender makes no difference. It's just what presence can I have that comes from a sense of caring, stewardship, and voice.
Is there a universal age, ethnicity, or same gender factor in this human-based leadership? Are all of these people the same in some way, or are they all different?
They're all different. Interestingly enough, and this was controversial even in my intro as I was writing it, I have one woman out of 12 in the book. It's not to say that I didn't contact equal numbers of women and men, but the women were much more hesitant to come forward and call themselves human-based leaders because they thought that it might be viewed as a sense of a form of weakness. And it's not. To me, it's a strength to be able to lead people from a sense of humanness rather than power. But women are viewed differently in a position of leadership, and they have to seem tougher. So if you want to show that human side, they look like softies or touchy-feely, and they weren't comfortable with it. So the woman who is in my book is a very powerful leader who is very comfortable in her own skin. It was never an issue. So my next book, or whatever happens that involves from this one, will certainly be focusing on what shifts do women have to take in their lives, in their leadership, to be comfortable to approach leadership from a human perspective as opposed to a power perspective.
Last question for me. Are we missing as a society some remarkable leaders because we tend to listen to the loudest or most visible leaders?
I think overall that's a really good point, and I think we're missing a great deal of what is possible when you bring humanity into the workplace. I think it makes it a stronger place. People take jobs because of people. They leave jobs because of people. You could promise them the moon and the stars and they'll stay for a little while. You don't treat them with respect and value their input, value their presence, they're not sticking around. So that's the bottom line, and I think we're in a society now that people are craving the human-based leadership.